Hello? Okay.
God and eternal Father, we come once again before your throne, asking for your blessings, O Lord. Father, we are told where 2 and 3 are gathered in your name, your presence is in the middle to bless. You also told us that we are blessed to bless. Father God, you have given us these positions, and we ask, O Lord, that we will be able to come together to unite, to do the right thing for your people. Father God, in your name, and your everlasting name only, I pray, and we all say, Amen.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. ASP, acting ASP.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm ASP Remy of the San Fernando City Police. I'll be a fire warden this morning. In the event of an emergency, there are 2 points of egress. One to my extreme left, which is the door we use as the entrance, and to my right, just behind me, where you will walk along the corridor to the side of the building. Persons are required to use these 2 points of egress and assemble at the muster point at the Harris Promenade bandstand, where we'll account for persons present at the meeting this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Acting ASP. May we have your seats? Welcome the Deputy Mayor and members of Council, our Chief Executive Officer, and members of the administration, members of the media. Any excuses from members of Council? I understand Councillor Ali and Councillor Shaka Joseph will be a little late. Anybody else?
Your Worship, Councillor Naigon Joseph is attending the Martin Electoral District, as well as Councillor Janki Ramanana also is down with suspect Chigvi.
Okay, okay. Mr. CEO?
Yes,
excuses from members of the administration?
Yes, Your Worship. Good morning to all. The city engineer and the corps sec is attending a matter in court this morning. They will be in a little late. However, Mr. Dennis Albert will be filling in for the city engineer, and Mr. Jamil Mohammed, PHI4, is caught in some traffic on the highway. He will be in shortly. Yes.
Okay. Well, I understand from the CEO that the city engineer and the corporate secretary is at the court.
Yes, Your Worship.
That is pursuing the matter with the dilapidated buildings.
Dilapidated buildings, and this would be the third appearance, Your Worship.
All right. So we should be getting some results today.
Yes, Your Worship. We expect some results today, and we expect it to be in our favor, Your Worship.
How many matters, Mr. CEO? You're not sure?
No, Your Worship, but there's a total of, I would say, close to 100. However, we are doing it in stages. So this batch should be around, I would think, about 40 to 50.
Okay. All right. Okay, we will go. We started a meeting today at 9:30 to accommodate our friends in the media. But they request that 8:30 is too late. It's too early, sorry. So I accepted and decided to have the meeting to accommodate all of us here for 9:30 for the statutory meeting. Okay, we go straight into the call to order of the statutory meeting. Confirmation of the 15th statutory meeting held on the 27th of January 2015. We go straight into the minutes. Any errors or omissions? Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, page 7, page 8, page 9, page 10, page 11, page 12, page 13, 14, and 15. Would someone kindly move a motion for the confirmation of these minutes?
I so move for the confirmation of the minutes of the 15th statutory meeting of the 9th San Fernando City Council held on Tuesday, 27th of January.
Thank you very much, Councillor Robert Paris.
I beg to second.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Montano. All in favor? Any against? The ayes have it. Matters arising. Page 2. Mr. CEO, I'd like to have page 1, and I'll move very quickly. I'd like to have an update on the new public convenience that this council recommended for Harris Promenade.
Okay, Your Worship, the foundation is in progress. It's expected to be completed within 2 weeks' time, Your Worship, and soon after that is completed, we will begin construction on the accommodations for the vendors that were there, and we have already sourced finance, Your Worship, for the frame of the building.
Okay.
So it is moving at a pace as required, Your Worship.
Okay, so we will, so the public convenience is on its way. All right. And the vendors will be relocated. There's the food vendors that we have next to the train right now. The new, we started that already?
No, Your Worship, because what's happening right now is that the hoarding of this building, the space that we have identified for the vendors, the food vendors, that space is being utilized right now for the hoarding for the completion of the foundation. That space, which is 25 feet west of the wall that separates the both property, the library as from our property, there are 25 feet are located, which will accommodate both the shed as well as an area, a sitting area, so that, you know, people who's purchasing would be able to sit there. That will start soon as the the foundation is completed.
You have a time frame?
I think the engineer told me it's within 2 weeks again that the foundation will be completed.
Okay. There's proper supervision and so on going on there. So members of council, any questions? You like the progress, or you don't like it? I know you have an interest in...
I did tour, as the chairman of physical infrastructure, the different projects that are happening on the Harris Promenade. And I did meet with the engineer on Friday. And I must say, and I obviously spoke to the head of council, I must say that we are pleased with the progress, and I'm hearing a lot of good things from the public as it pertains to the projects that are enhancing the Harris Promenade. So at this time, I just would like to congratulate yourself, Mr. CEO, and obviously the engineering department. The clock, you can imagine, I was on site speaking to the mayor and the contractor at the same time, and the mayor was giving me instructions what to tell the contractor to do. But I'm quite pleased. I walked on Carnival and I saw that it was excellent. But in the same breath, the meeting with the engineer and myself on Carnival, and I must thank the Carnival committee for the route that we did. I was able to walk the road free on that day, and I did see that on Mokarapo Street, we are seeing some indentation where the road needs some type of rehabilitation. And I suspect, again, it is that pesky water leak that we're talking about. So I'd just like Mr. Albert to please look into that. I know that I have the reassurance of Mr. Hiraman to look into it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor Paris. Mr. CEO? Yes, Mr. Mohammed. Okay. Thanks. Okay, Mr. CEO, when we came into office, there was a dying need for that area at Carib Street complex. Can I have an update on what is taking place there concerning the workers moving into the new building?
Okay, Bishop, yes. That site was toured yesterday with the various stakeholders. The ground floor is 90% completed. In fact, as either today or tomorrow, we start moving in furniture at the western side of section of the building. That is the section that will accommodate the ECD division. That's the major occupiers of the existing old building right now. So we are looking at completing those works by next week, and the moving will take place. I must add that the stakeholders, which include the union, the daily paid union, they are very pleased in what is happening there, and they are looking forward to moving in by the end of next week, Your Worship.
All right, because Mr. CEO, as you will know, that complex has started about 13 years ago, right? More than that? 13 years ago, right. And this council is very adamant about it being completed because we are worker friendly, and we need the workers to move in there because we need to clear up some of those old buildings that are there. And I saw here in the last minutes that the city engineer indicated then that he was optimistic about 3 weeks. But it's more than 3 weeks now, and taking into consideration the carnival and the little delays and so on. So we're looking at because what I want, Mr. CEO, is time frame. When you think we will be moving in, the workers can move in there.
Mr. Albert, can you give any response to that in terms of the time, Your Worship? Well, the furniture, as I said, the furniture, etc., will be started from tomorrow.
Right.
And Mr. Albert is staying a conservative time as 3 weeks.
Your Worship, members of Council, I am saying conservatively in within 3 weeks' time. We also have some additional work to do that could be done, would not interfere with other departments moving into the building. We have to install some roller shutter doors at the tire shop and the welding shop area, and we had to look at. We talked to TSCT already about relocating the telephone lines and that kind of thing. And we have some electrical to do in the new area, which is the eastern addition of the building. More than that, the substantive floor area on the ground floor for integrator, plumbers, electrical, they can move in. They can move in within, I would say, within a week.
Okay. Thanks for the update.
Your Worship,
Yes.
just one query here.
Yeah.
Is it a fact that there's some technical flaw in the structure where there is no back entrance or back exit? As it
Your
is?
Worship, members of Council, that is not, I am not in agreement with that. That was raised by stakeholders representing the union. All those shops are accessible to a corridor at the back, which leads to an exit. And the OSHA representative had no problem with it, and I'm sure fire will have no problem with it. I would arrange with fire to do a site visit and to give us a report on that.
Again, through you, Worship, are you anticipating any repercussion?
I beg pardon?
Are you anticipating any repercussion?
Well, based on the response from the union representative yesterday, I do anticipate that.
You don't?
No.
Any other queries? Mr. CEO, the machine shop and the plumbing shop and the washroom facilities there. When those events, you have an idea when that's moving out?
Your Worship, members of Council, you're referring to the existing toilets next door to the plumbing shop?
Yeah.
I am of the view that should be removed, and we will look at the possibility of having that removed at the same time that we're taking on those buildings.
Okay.
I do, however, want to recommend that the toilets at the back of the insect vector department, that those remain on site and be refurbished.
Okay. Okay. Well, Mr. CEO, you will handle it. Yeah, you will handle that, right? So we could say we're making some headway after about 16 years. About 16 years. And I want it to be known that we are very adamant about getting things done in San Fernando. Yeah? We're not going to come here for 3 years and just spend some time like as a vacation. And because everyone here is very eager to work. Mr. CEO, I don't want to go off the agenda, but as we're on Carib Street and on the same page, I'm seeing derelict vehicles. What is the situation with all those vehicles that we removed from Carib Street and stored it at Circular Road and promised the people in that area that it will be there for a couple of months? What is the situation with the border survey and so on?
Your Worship, the border survey has been completed. This was completed early February, and we are now waiting just permission to dispose of the Good, yeah.
You're waiting on the border survey?
Yeah, the site visit has been completed. They have assessed the derelict vehicles, and we're just waiting for approval from the Board of Survey to now
When was the last border survey done in this corporation? About
that, I don't know. That would be Your Worship, and that's the struggle we would have had to initiate this current one. and I think we would have broken all records to have it completed. And in terms of the last survey, I can't say that would have been a long, long time, Your Worship. Hence the reason why we have all these derelicts.
All right, so you're talking about over 10 years.
Yes, I would think so, even more.
So we created a garbage, a dump site in San Fernando.
At Carroll Street, Your Worship, by just placing these vehicles there.
All right. So members, I want you all to take note that after 10 years, they're doing a border survey in San Fernando City Corporation. And that goes for what about the tires? We have about how much hundreds of tires and batteries up there that causing chikungunya going around. I mean, what's the situation with those tires? And
yes, Your Worship. Just before I answer that, though,
there's a health hazard in San Fernando.
Yes, Your Worship. Just before I answer that, though, I would like to go back to the border survey and indicate that surveys were also conducted. Surveys were also conducted for several items at Carroll Street that include e-waste, desk, etc. And approval was granted for to get rid of these items. In fact, we have almost cleared up that ground floor, that ground level floor of the Carroll Street stores. That was in a mess with, we were looking at nearly 300 items, small items that we are in the process of removing. In fact, we almost completed that exercise. And in terms of the, right, in terms of the tires, we were just waiting for the carnival season to be completed. From tomorrow, the tires will be will be recorded and removed to be disposed by, to be shredded by solid waste management at Port of Spain.
Oh, solid waste management?
Solid waste management. Yes, we just signed a check there for that because that's at a cost. However, the batteries, we would be getting rid of those batteries. We have an offer from the previous person, the company who would normally take these batteries. That is company in San Fernando, and there's an offer of $40 per battery. And those batteries also would be removing at the end of the week or by early next week.
Like hundreds of batteries? Plenty of batteries?
Yeah.
With tires, hundreds of
tires? About 500 tires.
Right. Yeah. I'm just see how long those tires there? No, I want it to be recorded and how long these tires are there.
Dennis, you could answer those.
Your Worship, members of Council, the tires is an accumulation over the years, and as far as I am aware, the last time we probably might have done a disposal would have been probably about.
So members of Council, we all should give ourselves a round of applause for taking these bold stand to clear up this waste. All right, Councillor Olaman Ratia.
I would respectfully ask to be excused at this point. I would like to attend the funeral of Mr. Robert Torrey, a friend of mine in Diego Martin, which is scheduled for 10:30. I did send an email yesterday to the council. A friend of mine.
Once you're not going to open a new party.
To what?
Once you're not on your way to forming a new party.
No chance of that, Your Worship. Thank you kindly. Pleasant day.
All the best, sir. Okay, Mr. CEO, I see the removal of the banners and so on. I normally get a listing from the police. I would like you to take this seriously. I would like you to put some sort of update on the derelict vehicles in San Fernando. And as you're on your feet, the person on the bypass with the 6 and 7 derelict vehicles.
Yeah, I'll give you an update on everything.
All right.
You want your worship, members of council, members of administration. The first one is the bypass. Up to last week, our officers were there. They claim that they have sold the vehicle, but the person who purchased it hasn't picked it up yet. So that's the latest with that, and we are watching that situation because, if they sold it, then we'll have to deal with the new owner now. So that's another story. But we are working on that. In terms of the proposal for the joint visit with the city police and the public health department, we started that on the 5th of February. 4 garages were checked. St. Andrews Park, Omidale Avenue, Ladybird Crescent, and Carlita Drive. The vehicles we found, well, together with the city police, they weren't derelict per se, but they were illegally parked for repairs. So we found 5 at St. Andrews Park, 4 at Omidale, 4 at Ladybird, 2 at Carlita. In terms of St. Andrews, though they asked for a week to remove it, to date, the same 5 remain. In Omidale, out of 4, 2 were moved, 2 remain. In Ladybird, 4 illegally parked, 4 remaining. Now, these are illegally parked because we had to determine that. And in Carlita, 2 illegally parked, 1 removed, 1 remaining. So the exercise will continue every Thursday because of the carnival season and the city police.
So this exercise is ongoing?
Yeah, so every Thursday.
And I want you to keep it up, please.
Yes, we're not letting up because, you know, they dance around us, they move it and bring it back and so on. Because but I must impress that these are illegally parked vehicles which look like derelict and deface the areas. Okay? So if the public health department don't enforce, the city police will have to do that part. Or can't enforce, the city police will have to do that part.
You went to the bottom of Fernando Street?
But no.
I saw it on the express week before.
That's in the road or that's in the resident?
That's in the abandoned lot there?
In the abandoned lot, yeah. Well, the officer keeps trying to get the owners up because that lot seems to be anybody owned. And that's the problem with that lot itself.
Yeah, you see, when it highlighted in the Guardian and the Express and the Newsday, I mean, it's look bad on the city. It's reflect bad on us. That we have nobody here to enforce the laws. So what will happen in the meantime? You just leave it there?
So, what we need to do is we need to get the owner of that lot. He will be responsible. Once we could get the owner is responsible for whatever is on the lot.
Yeah, but you're not getting the owner?
The officer is getting some problem to get the owner, but we will pursue it. Okay? That is an ongoing thing. It moves, it comes back to all these things happen. Because there's a mechanic shop somewhere around there too.
You see, once I see it, I read the papers all the time. I read all the papers. And I read the public opinion and the photo. There are photos there. The Express and the News, the Guardian have different names for it. And it highlights all the ills in San Fernando. And one I always notice, look like for example, I mean I don't want to go right there, no. But the Express highlighted vending in front by Royal Castle there, and with children going to school in the morning, and somebody selling doubles, then they have to walk on the road. Now, I intend to meet with the police and the CEO because vending in San Fernando is completely out of hand. Right? I see vending taking place. Somebody selling on the Gulfview Link Road in the night. We have a place provided for people to sell in the night, which is on Crossing. Now, I don't know if I supposed to see that, but people is... Pardon me? Go ahead. Marble have a lot, right? They have in front of lounge there, people vending. But the vending is out of hand in San Fernando. Madam Acting ASP, could you tell me how many officers you supposed to have at the city police?
Through the chair, Your Worship, members of council, members of administration, the sanction strength is 54, sir.
54 officers. On a given day, how many officers you have reporting for work?
4 on shift, and senior officers, 4, 5, 6, so approximately 7 persons, sir.
So you have a city police.
Your Worship, through the chair, the ASP needs to establish what she actually has. This is what is supposed to be allocated, and she needs to establish what she has to see what they're working with, right?
Yes,
so,
sir. The sanctioned strength is 54. The actual strength I'm working with right now is 21.
21?
Yes, sir. Critically depleted staff, sir.
So members of council, you see the situation we're in here? So we're supposed to have 54 officers, and we have now 21. Madam Acting, yes, 21 officers.
Yes, sir, presently.
So on a given day, 5 to 7 officers report for duty.
Yes, sir, that inclusive of the ASP, the inspector, and the sergeants. But basically, the running shift is 4 officers. So if 1 reports sick, 2 reports sick, we have issues.
Well, we have real issues. That's not just issues. That's serious issues. So in other words, the San Fernando City Corporation is not equipped to deal with a lot of matters, including the vending. We can't deal with the vending, illegal vending in San Fernando. How you all handle that acting ASP?
So we try our best. We try our best. The senior officers do constable work. We have been asking for a while for strength. We have been applying. Nothing has been done. And I think now that we are at the topic, I appreciate that something could be done. Because our task has increased drastically, and we try. The officers are really working hard to get the job done. And we need to perform effectively. And in order to do this, we have to have an addition of strength.
Your Worship, can we apply to Central Police, to the Commissioner of Police, asking for SRPs to augment our situation?
Mr. Deputy Mayor, I did that 1 year ago. Do you remember?
Yeah, but we can highlight it now. This is a statutory meeting. We have the media here, and this is a critical situation that we're talking about. The law is being breached left, right, and center in San Fernando, and the people are suffering, and we need to highlight this, and Commissioner of Police need to look at this critical situation. And if we applied a year ago and nothing has been done, let's reinforce it now.
You know, I always see, and some might be annoyed with me, I always get myself in trouble when I talk. But San Fernando is a city only by name, you know. San Fernando is a city only by name. Because, I mean, you're talking about a city with 7 officers working, 5 or 7 officers working. You can't, when you walk up, I would usually walk up High Street. I went to see the projects going on the Promenade. I walk up High Street, it was Friday. You can't walk on the pavements. Pedestrians cannot walk on the pavements. The vendors take over High Street. We're now fixing up that area by the clock. Right? Some man just come there in the night and put all his thing on top of the pavement there. People can't walk, they have to walk in the road. But according to the ASP, they can't handle it. With the limited resources, they can't handle it. Mr. CEO, I mean, this is very serious in San Fernando. Yeah? How much money was allocated for this financial year in the city of San Fernando?
CTA will be able to answer that. Okay. That's 1 minute, Your Worship. Okay, Your Worship, for the year 2015, $142,950. Sorry, $142,950,000, Your Worship.
Oh, that's total.
That's total,
Right.
2015. And again, I would like to add, last year, $152,280,000.
So what was the cutback?
The cutback, I believe, I don't have the report here, but the cutback would have been mostly, as I said at the last start, other contracted services, uniforms.
So we're looking at a figure of over 10 million?
A decrease in 10 million, Your Worship, yes.
So members, you all are hearing that we got a cut of by $10 million. $10 million is this is the second city in Trinidad and Tobago. $10 million. How we expect to survive here? We have a police force depleted. They can't, I mean, the citizens crying out. Yeah.
Good morning, Your Worship, members of Council, the CEO, members of administration. Your Worship, thank you for giving me the opportunity to say very briefly. You know, it's a little bit ridiculous. We have a city, as you said, the second city in the country, perhaps even the first city, because of how rich in terms of culture, education, and the people that we have in San Fernando. Size and population and everything else, as my learned colleague is adding. But the fact of the matter is, we have a cut. We have basic costs to maintain what we actually have, which we can't do, and then to do any other projects to improve our city and bring it up to a standard. We're way below standard a lot of things. Look at our public, everything that you have been pushing for, Your Worship. Even our city hall, all these projects, you know, hats off, Your Worship, under your guidance and leadership, we've been able to cut and fit, but we shouldn't have to cut and fit.
Yeah.
And if we have a cut on the monies that is just for the basic maintenance and we can't even keep the city up to the standard, it's falling, how are we going to do the other additional projects that we need to
I'd like
do?
to have 1 meeting, please, Mr. Public Health Inspector. I'd like to have 1 meeting, please. You know, we have a new, almost completed bandstand that wasn't refurbished. It was rotten, was falling apart for over how much years? About nearly 40 years, right? Or more. Right? We didn't get no new money allocated for that, you know. We had to take money. The deputy mayor suggested we had allocation for
The building.
another building, and we had to take and fit. That's how we fix the public convenience. We want to do so many things, but no money allocated. So, what is the ministry? You know, last week I emphasized clearly, and you all give the support here, that what the leader of the opposition wants, we are going to support it, as this council in San Fernando is going to support it. And what he is saying is that more autonomy should be given to local government. Not happening. And that is why we have to ensure that this general election coming here, I am not campaigning, because when I come on this council here, I try to be fair and act without fear or favor, without anybody. But if we come here and we can't give basic amenities to the people of San Fernando, what we doing? You know where the most, you know who they ask the most questions in Trinidad to? Local government representatives. They don't ask the MPs, you know. The MPs have their role to play, but the local government is the man they meeting first. When they want the drain, when they want the parks, when they want the public convenience, when they want the high street, garbage collection, everything. So I want to applaud you all for taking the stand of supporting. And this council is the first council to do that. I haven't seen it, I haven't heard of it anywhere. Personally thanking you all for supporting the leader of the opposition. that when the PNM wins the next general election, that more autonomy should be given to local government. Because we haven't constitutional reform and we're not having no local government reform. How that can happen? So much emphasis is being placed on constitutional reform, and local government has the bulk behind it. Yeah, and you all know, most of us here are San Fernandans. They say what San Fernando does, the rest of the country follows. So I hope we will be sending the message out, and I hope we'll be getting what is due to us. I will be here next year, or by the end of this year, I don't know when, right? How long I am here, I want to ensure that the job we came here to do, we are going to do it. And I am pleased so far being here. I'm not pleased with the pace of the work, because, take for example, when I took office, I decided to take the mayor's office from upstairs to downstairs. And after 1 year and 3 months, I am still upstairs. No. And the simple things, is the little things that need to be done. If I had my way, I would long time used to have something called senior and salts. Remember that at Broclax and JK? Some people need to get that in here. A purge to move faster. I come from here, I know here, I work here 30-something years. Yes, madam? Okay. Alright, so with this kind of money, I mean, we can't really do nothing in San Fernando. And I want, you see, members of council, we all are elected representatives. We need to tell the people what's going on, because they are assuming that we don't want to fix this and we don't want to fix the street light and the potholes. But there's no money for it. There's no money. I sit in my office and I see people every single Wednesday. People call me on the phone, and I take every single phone call. And if I don't get the call, I return every single call. And people crying out. Some of them come and blame the councillors, and I have to explain to them it's not the councillors. The councillors could do so much. It's the system here. It's the funding. How much money was spent in the last council under the Congress of the People administration? Anybody can answer me? You can answer me, councillor? Mr. CEO, you have an idea?
At this point in time.
We ain't started to spend 1/3 of that money yet that they spent in the last 3 years. And what we got for it? What we got in the last 3 years for the money that they spent? I have a booklet in my office. Sorry I didn't bring it out here this morning. And I was surprised to know you asked the CTA how much money was allocated, and she could answer. I mean, you are the accountant, the chief accountant here. You're supposed to be able to tell us, not the CEO. But anyway, I will take up this at our next level, I will take this at our next level. And you see, there's it here on page 4. Councillor Paris, I see you had a lot to say here. No, Mr. CEO, you said we reduced by 10 million. It's 20 million we reduced by. It's 20 million.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, but that's 10 and 10 is 20. That's plenty money.
Yeah. Of we were speaking even last week about the current, because that's the operation. That's what is required for the operations of the corporation. And there was a decrease of, a total decrease of 20 million. However, there was a decrease of 20 million and there were an increase of 10 million. So the net decrease was 10 million. So some areas were increased, some areas were decreased. So if you look at the details of the estimate, that you would see that. And I was saying most of the decrease went to the other contracted services, to uniforms and areas like that. So the net decrease was 10 million.
Yeah, but people, citizens of San Fernando is crying out for goods and services. And when we make projections, we must make projections. Look, you know what I found out? I went to a wake in Bel Air Friday night. And I'm sorry the city engineer is not here, because somebody have to answer me this question. How come a park in Bel Air could be closed for 2 years? I mean, there's a community. Children live down there. People exercising more now than ever. How come a park could be closed for 2 years? Somebody had to answer me. I keep telling people inside of here, you know, my ear is on the ground. I know everything that's going on in San Fernando. I listen to everybody. Everybody might be right, but everybody has something to tell you. And, I mean, the people were disgusted. 2 years. 2 years, Mr. CEO. What is the reason for that? You know? You wouldn't know?
No, Your Worship.
But somebody have to go down there and meet the residents. I want to have a meeting with the residents down there. And I want the engineer and yourself to go down with me. The people who put us there, you know, here, you know. All of us sitting here asked to be here, you know. So we owe the people an explanation. We didn't come here, we just walk off the streets and come here. We went and asked people to vote for us. We want to get in office, we want to serve, we want to represent you. But 2 years our park closed. I don't want to go off the agenda, you know. Mr. Jamil, yes? Mr. Jamil, how is the food inspection? I have an update on how that's ongoing also. We have a duty to visit all these food establishments to make sure that they serve the public in the right way.
Your Worship, members of council. Well, the first 3 months of the year, we focus on the carnival vendors and the liquor license. I saw there's a mistake in the minutes where they say vendors, but is renewal of liquor license. Most of the time is around middle of March. And the other quarter we'll focus on non-liquor and so on. This is ongoing because we have to monitor food places. They slip up very easily. In terms of, I think you wanted to know about the cross-crossing situation too. Mm-hmm. Okay. The legal part, we have covered every loophole. We have tried to cover every loophole in terms of the agreement. That has finally finished. Now we need to have some utilities there bring up the standard, like the remarking and numbering of the vending bays, the installation of chain barriers to prevent unauthorized parking, the connections to the convenience there. That is posing a problem, since now we have found out that Ministry of Works actually had owned the land because Lady Hills was under the Highways Act. So we forwarded a letter to the city engineer had forwarded a letter to Ministry of Works asking if we could give us permission. That's the only way we could get a connection to WASA.
Yeah, Mr. CEO, Mr. Public Health Inspector, Mr. Mohammed. That public convenience board, the mobile public convenience board for the vendors at Crossing, right? How long that was bought now?
I wouldn't able to say exactly because Mr. Ram Kalawan was handling that, I think, about 2 years ago or something. or 2 years.
We can't be serious here.
Your Worship.
I think, what I'm hearing now is Mr. Ragwa was still the CEO at the time.
Mr. Ragwa was the CEO?
Yeah.
But, Your Worship, I just want to... And maybe 2 years now would have been in place in terms of sourcing it and having it done. However, I think it was only delivered sometime last year. Middle or maybe a later part of last year. And what we are going through right now is that when we had applied to WASA for the connection to the sewer, they indicated to us that the land belongs to the Ministry of Works. So right now we are liaising with them just to get permission from them to do the hookup. Noting that this piece of land is just a little piece that is between a drain, I believe, and an existing building there. So we're in the process of having those permissions granted to us.
So this is a case of putting the cart before the horse. Because we made all those arrangements. We're supposed to make all those arrangements, Mr. Mohammed, and then bring in this facility. Now we bring the facility now, and we have it just park up down there. And we can't have it operational.
Well, I think it was a surprise to all of us when we heard that the Ministry of Works, they had still had a thing, and WASA needs to get those legal parts clear before they give us connection. We wouldn't get a licensed plumber to do anything without those legal parts.
Mr. Mohammed, I am the leading servant in San Fernando. And as a leader, I don't like surprises. So you can't tell me you have a thing going on down there. And so when is expected? Any date expected? Because people urinate all on the fence, all on cars, all on the road.
I guess the city engineer would best be able to answer that question because he is dealing with the WASA part and the Ministry of Works.
Your Worship, members of Council, CEO, members of Administration. It is frustrating because it all ties in with what you were saying before. We're doing things and I can't understand, no disrespect meant to anybody. But a lot of the time, things that we expect to be ours and under our control, we're finding out after the fact that it's somebody else's control. We have no power, it would seem, to affect even our own city and what falls within the city. We have to apply to the Ministry of Works for a tiny little strip of land to put down toilets for a vending area that is ours. And now even the land that the vending area is under question from the ministry. All of a sudden, because we want to improve things, it's getting to be frustrating and confusing. It goes back to what you were saying before, Your Worship. We need to have control over our resources, our land, our facilities, and the way the money is distributed within. Because if we had that, we wouldn't have to worry about having to beg somebody to connect a toilet. That's ridiculous.
So, Madam Olaman and members of council, what I am trying to assess here now, what I am trying for it to come down to, there's a lot of problems here, and we need to find the solution to these problems. So the solution for that public convenience, you know the cost of the public convenience down there?
I don't have an idea about it. The city engineer, they organized all that, and it was prefab.
So nobody don't have no answers for nothing here?
Well, I don't know if the CEO could answer that. Yeah.
I mean, that is a straightforward question. What is the cost of the public convenience bought?
I can't remember the exact figure, and I shouldn't have to. We should have that information brought us. But if, in my recollection, it was in excess of $200,000. It was done by Meckelfab, and if I'm not mistaken, colleagues, it was something like that. It was an expensive little, and it's just 2 toilets, I mean. Is it? It's a small little facility, but it was a prefab done by Fab, if I'm not mistaken. And it was very expensive, and it's sitting down there. By the time we get connection and we sort out all these legalities, next thing you know, the thing ain't working. And we have to spend our next, I don't know how much to fix it. And that seems to be the trend. And it has to stop. If the national, if at government level, things want to be run that way, where a certain money is spent on stuff, and just to say that it's there, no maintenance, no follow-up, no support systems in place, San Fernando is not going to run like that, Your Worship. This has to stop.
I mean, this is disturbing. I mean, everybody could see there's a working council here. You know. Since we came in here, we have been going. There's nobody on this council come to pose, you know. We have good-looking and handsome people here, but nobody here posing. So, Mr. Is the engineer have to say about that? Mr. CEO, could you mandate the city engineer to look into this and give our feedback at the next meeting on Tuesday, coming up here, when it will be done? Could be, I mean, this Wassa, this in San Fernando, that can be hard to do. I know people in Wassa, I can pick up my phone and call them. We have a coordinating team here that Wassa people come and sit on. We must have connection. I said, Councilor.
I don't see any problem with us work with
So Wassa is in contact with us?
Every Tuesday they call us.
So, sorry, that's the arrangement that we have with the Water and Sewerage Authority. Every Thursday they call the councillors to ask if there's any issues in the electoral districts.
So, Mr. CEO, is really the city engineer Wassa not in contact with them? And he's the most important man here?
But, Your Worship, members of administration, members of council, in the meeting that I had with the engineer, though, I did indicate to him that I was displeased with certain projects that Wassa is undertaking, and I wanted to bring it up at the regional coordinator meeting. There seems to be some lack of communication between the engineering department and Wassa, and the engineer was unsatisfied with certain projects being undertaken by Wassa at this present time, right? So that's something that when we do meet with them, we are going to bring up Wassa South. Let me be specific, Wassa South.
Okay. So I want to answer the next meeting, Mr. CEO, concerning the problems. And Mr. Mohammed, you will follow up on it? Okay. Any other matters on page 5?
Nope.
I'd like to rise at this point in time. I am a little astonished that the Deputy Mayor did take this opportunity to rise, but I must rise today, Mr. Mayor, and thank the Deputy Mayor and the convener of Carnival, and yourself as the chairman of the Carnival Committee in San Fernando, Mr. Mayor, for doing an excellent job with Carnival this year. Notwithstanding the fact that after hearing that the government has subsidized Carnival by $140 million, the city of San Fernando only got $1.3 million to run the Carnival in the city of San Fernando. And that is, Mr. Mayor, that is, besides being grossly disrespectful and an embarrassment to the city of San Fernando, our city celebration starts from as early as November, where we will launch our Carnival. And from there straight till Carnival Tuesday, $1.3 million to run the entire Carnival celebrations. I consider to be a disrespect. But at the same time, I must congratulate yourself and the Deputy Mayor for a job well done. Mr. Mayor, I saw this carnival brought with it in the city of San Fernando, our next Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. I heard over the news that he has intentions probably to come again next year. And I would like to extend welcome him to come back next year and ask that if he decides to come, that maybe next time he can let the city of San Fernando know that he's coming, so probably all our councillors could be there to endorse him on a better and a more powerful front. Mr. Mayor, I played in this section, and having him there was a delight to me. It was a delight to the citizens of San Fernando who was there, and I hope that he do come back again, Mr. Mayor. Outside of that, moving back to the topic at hand, Mr. Mayor, I don't know what to say again, because $1.3 million to run San Fernando Carnival, which could revel with Port of Spain Carnival any day, to me is not just a disrespect, Mr. Mayor. I don't know how to put that again, because, Mr. Mayor, we have, from traditional mass, we still have the mud mass and the traditional juve in San Fernando, which is a dying art form in Port of Spain. We have traditional and modern juve. We have separate judging points for the two of them, and we have them in abundance, Mr. Mayor. I believe it's over 50 juve bands we had this year. Mr. Mayor, along with that, we have the night mass in San Fernando, which is the biggest in the country. Port of Spain, I believe it has something meager running in St. James, but that's about it. Very meager. Mr. Mayor, and I want to know why it is NCC and the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, they could hear every fete, every announcement, the office of the Republic of the Prime Minister, the Minister of Housing, the Ministry of Housing, the Ministry of Arts and Multiculturalism, endorsing and sponsoring every single major fete in Trinidad. But we're begging to get the right amount of money to run carnival in the city of San Fernando. Mr. Mayor, it's about time Ivan Calitran and Calitran Mass get the kind of prize money that they deserve for the mass that they present. Mr. Mayor, they could go Port of Spain and revel with anybody and probably win bigger money, but they choose to stay in San Fernando. And we have to find a way to endorse people like this. It's over the years, Calitran and Lionel Jagisa has been running big bands for years. It's unfortunate that Owen Hines has lost its flourish, and this year they did not present any mass. But because of that fireworks, our whole large band was able to rejuvenate itself and come back and claim second place, Mr. Mayor, and give Calitran a run for their money in the presentation. So I hope, Mr. Mayor, that NCC and the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago understands the value of mass in San Fernando and give us a little more. Probably not just a little more, because we need a lot more. But if we do get, Mr. Mayor, we could present the mass that San Fernando. We could pay the practitioners of the culture in San Fernando the money that it deserves. Instead of studying, Mr. Mayor, what bothers me most is that the political leader of the People's National Movement came to San Fernando. When the president was here, he whined on people. People whined on him. It wasn't a problem. I have no problem with him and how he enjoyed himself, but Mr. Mayor, all the attention was put on him and one little situation that happened. Mr. Mayor, and no media house carried about the proper presentation that San Fernando played to the Carnival of Trinidad and Tobago and the very little money we got to do it. So, Mr. Mayor, I thank you for this opportunity to rise and speak on this issue, but I hope that NCC and the Republic of the government, well, next time we have a PNM government, so hopefully we will get more money. God is good. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Mr. Mayor, so I thank you for this opportunity.
What was the section you played in?
The indication of the victory to come, landslide.
So next year, what section you have intention of doing?
Probably whiplash, because when they're done, they don't know what happened with them. You know?
Okay.
Your Worship, members of council, members of administration, I would just like to endorse all that my fellow councillor has said. I mean, I was not part of the merriments for Carnival. I spent the entire 5 days or so at home, looking at the television, media reports, and so. But it gives me great pleasure that I understand my fellow councillors had a wonderful time. The city of San Fernando enjoyed, and it was really great to have our political leader with us. And next year I know that we would have the Prime Minister then, you know. So it's nice. I just want to say, again, thank you to yourself and the Deputy Mayor and the hardworking Carnival Committee, as well as our police, because I think it was a crime-free, mostly celebrations. And we have a female at the helm at our city police, so it gives me great pleasure to again say thanks to you all. And I'm sorry I wasn't a part of the revelry, you know. Maybe next year I'll come out, but thank you to the city police for a job well done. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Councillor Smith. Any other matters on page 6?
Your Worship, I would also like to thank the city police, because for Children's Carnival, they were out. And actually, Mr. Remy tried to put me out of a band because she thought it was a carnival, thinking it was a shandy. So I know they were hard at work. I know our band of the year, we can rival anyone, because Trinidad All Stars won with all costumes in national panorama. National band of the year. And if they could win that with costumes from, must be 2001, we and San Fernando can rival any band in Trinidad and Tobago. We have the best Jubilee, we have the best night mass, and I'm telling you now that we have the best Tuesday mass. Monday evening and Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Joseph. We move on to page 7. I just want to let you all know that about the fiasco that took place with the stage that Tuco built is on the agenda here, that blocked the citizens from the Burgess stand, from the mayor's box, and from that whole area, the pavilion area. And I will ensure you all that next year that will never happen. Because we are going to do a proper, we will have the 2 legal persons here, Councillor Donovan and Alderman Ratiram. When this agreement is being drafted, something like this will never happen again in San Fernando. As I keep saying, nobody can sit in Port of Spain and tell us what to do in San Fernando without proper consultation. And they feel they're bigger than everybody. They try to abuse the deputy mayor when he tried to reach out to them in a nice way. And they were proud about it too. So this blocking at this stage will never ever happen again next year. Yes?
And with that said, Your Worship, I don't think that's how the public is also aware that we were being strong-armed by the NCC in some regards, because our infrastructure was almost removed. We put up some very expensive fencing at the basketball area, and the NCC put up a VIP tent there. I think it was a 60 by 40 VIP tent that on Calypso Fiesta they wanted to put 1,000 people in, and the fire services had to tell them they can't do that. I don't know, I really don't know what is happening with Carnival in our cultural spot, which is the Skinner Park. Yes, and as well as I'm being reminded that our infrastructure was removed behind the park keeper's back. The basketball ring that is there, we are told that the NCC removed it, but they have no intention of putting it back. So therefore, that's a cost to the city corporation. You could imagine how unfair that is. And the city engineer has assured me that he's going to make it so that it could be unscrewed now, and he doesn't have to do that amount of work, and we don't have to spend that amount of money. But regardless, it is unfair that you have this state body that's coming into our facility and calling shots. It was quite unfair that the patrons of the mayor's box, it almost seemed intentional. I followed the reports clearly. It seemed intentional that it was blocked, right? So I just thought to bring that up to add to what you were saying, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. It was well observed. Huh? If you go down to Skinner Park now, there are no basketball rings, you know. So they come down here, got no permission to cut it down and just leave it and go on.
And wanted to move the fence.
Yeah. Right?
That we just fixed.
I could tell you all, this is a very strong council, and we must not tolerate something like this. We gave in to them very easy this year, and it must not happen again. And any other matters on page 7, we want to page 8. Page 10, 11.
Members of Council, members of Administration, good morning. I rise with regard to 11.1, the Hamley Development. We have spoken quite extensively in the last statutory meeting, Your Worship, about this, and I'm just asking the CEO about the process of taking over the development, if it has been initiated, sir.
Through the Chair, Your Worship, yes, the process has been initiated. Letters were sent to HEC from the Corporate Secretary's department. However, in terms of the applications that they would have submitted previously, we would have sent out a second reminder to them based on those applications. Those applications would be for the subdivision of the land, which is still outstanding.
Yeah? Yes.
Thank you for the opportunity, Your Worship, members of council, members of admin. We want to talk about constructive and destructive criticism at this time. And Your Worship, you alluded to it in your discourse earlier, where you talked about there are certain projects that are undertaken via local government, but the members of the public don't know any better. So therefore, without proper consultation with them, their criticism of us is quite destructive. So much so destructive, Your Worship, that I am on a crusade that what happened in 2010 to the People's National Movement will not happen again this year. So therefore, I am on a crusade to correct what is wrong, and I feel the need to speak about the HDC and what it is that Councillor Sugrim just brought up. Your Worship, the Orchid Gardens community, we all know, and Harmony Hall as well as Taruba Heights has not been handed over to the city corporation, as well as in Bakade. Imagine that, as well as in Bakade. And we have members from Roy J as well writing me as the chairman of physical infrastructure, telling me of some of the ills in some of these HDC structures. Your Worship, I have taken it upon myself, and I informed you on Friday that I was going to write the head of the PNM's parliamentary caucus, the chief whip, the head of the Legislative Council, Ms. Marlene McDonald, on this, to bring it up on a parliamentary level. Your Worship, myself and Councillor Joseph last the entire term of the PP. So you could imagine, when I entered into this gracious hall, my hair was black, now it's white. It was not easy, Your Worship. And here it is that we have a brand new council, and we have this problem with the HDC continuing. I was attacked. I was attacked by a member of the public in Orchid Gardens, and I get a lot of support there. But this one member in particular he was a little miserable. He did not want to listen to what I'm saying. It's quite fine. We are in the business of delivering goods. So if he didn't want to listen, no problem. But I am going to correct what is wrong. These areas, Your Worship, they need to be handed over legally. And the press has carried me for the last 5 years talking about it. 5 years. And here it is that you have Councillor Sugrim talking about it. You have Councillor Joseph with Mbakade. I didn't even know Mbakade wasn't handed over. And you have my colleague, Councillor Donawa, talking about Taruba Heights. Your Worship, I intend on bringing that up in our Legislative Council meeting tomorrow. And it is my hope that our parliamentary caucus discuss it, because it would be a first, because there are other councillors throughout the country that is calling me. They read the articles that I have talked about the HDC handing over. As a matter of fact, I've been in contact with the former Minister of Housing, Ms. Dickford, and she told me, she congratulated me on the effort. She said that is a step in the right direction, because we cannot leave this. And this is one of the bugbears that is affecting us and is hampering us in local government. Remember, we are the first respondents. We are the first respondents, but these HDC areas, they must be legally handed over. And Your Worship, I thank you for the conversation and the support that you gave me on Friday when I told you of my intent to do this. And I am certain we are the first council. We are the first council that is going to take this proactive approach. I thank you very much.
And I want to congratulate you for taking that hands-on approach. And I know you're very passionate and I know you're very emotional about it, because it's people. And I mean, look how much years pass and nobody seems to want to care or want to do anything for the people. But one voice make a difference, and your voice will make a difference. Any other matters on page 13? Last statutory meeting, I spoke about the motorcycles down at the city police that were not in use. It was carried in a newspaper, and I have been getting calls upon calls asking me to buy these motorbikes, and they want to know what's the procedure to buy them and so on. Almost every day. I would like to have an update, Mr. CEO, concerning these. How many motorbikes? 5? 6?
So much?
Your Worship, members of council, members of administration, 5 bikes are assigned to the police department, 4 of which were given as gifts from Junior Sami, general contractors in 2004, and handed over to the police department by former Mayor of the City of San Fernando, Mr. Atlee. The last bike was purchased in 2012, a Yamaha police motorcycle 2012 model. The initial bikes we had, because of the design, they were not fitted with sirens and lights, so the uses of those bikes were limited. An assessment was done in 2011 in order to see the feasibility, how we could salvage these motorbikes, and they need to be reassessed. The 2012 model, however, is in good condition. It's just that the battery needs to be charged. We need to have officers retrained, because we had 5 officers that did the motorcycle discipline course. 3 of those officers have been since promoted. 1 has resigned. and Officer Kuman Singh, who is the officer that was trained to use the 2012 model motorcycle, need to be retrained. And that motorcycle was not designed to work among traffic and that sort of thing. That motorcycle was designed for long runs. That is the update I have for you. A full report will be submitted to your office.
While you're on your feet, Madam Acting ASP, when was the 4 motorbikes donated? What year?
2004, sir.
All right, 2004. So members, donated 2004, and in 2012, they decided to buy another one without any use of the 4. Right? So they decided not to use the 4 motorbikes at all. And on top of that, 2012 passed, they bought one, this 2015. And none is being used. Whether taxpayers buy it, or whether it was donated by a corporate citizen, money was paid for it. And I don't understand it. I mean, I know you now come as the acting ASP, but I can't understand the rationale by buying these motorbikes in the first place. I understand you just said there that the bike bought in 2012 was made for long runs.
Yes, sir. That bike was designed for long runs. Hence the reason why that have not been utilized within the department.
You know what's the radius of San Fernando? There are no long runs in San Fernando. There's no long runs in San Fernando. So, Mr. CEO, we have to make a decision here what we are going to do with those motorbikes. We don't even have a force. We are 21, sometimes 5 people come out, sometimes 2 people come out. So how we handling these, we have to make a decision here, council members, we have to make a decision here, you know. Because we are a responsible council, we have to make a decision what we're going to do with those motorbikes. Huh?
I'm sorry, good morning, Your Worship, members of administration, members of council. I rise today, Your Worship, to highlight, I believe, what is a bigger issue. I do understand the point you were trying to make to ourselves and to the public about the wastage that is taking place. I was hoping to rise at today's statutory meeting to announce something the accomplishment of something that I and my colleagues have worked very hard towards, which is the one-way of Leoto Street. Although we were able to put that into force, it was not able to take place because the larger issue, sir, if you would excuse me, is that we are severely short-staffed on the police side. And I believe, as the ASP tried to indicate, yes, there is wastage that is taking place, and we as a council have to address that. But the larger issue is that we need to cry out to central government because we are not staffed on the police side, be it bike members or not.
Just take a seat, please. You weren't here at the beginning, and we discussed that at length. And a letter will be, we wrote a letter 1 year ago for the understaffed. The staff is supposed to be 52, and it's 21 right now, but you weren't here, so we took that decision already. But what we are doing right now, we have to make a decision what we're doing with these motorbikes, because it can't be sitting down there because the public is aware of this right now. So any suggestions?
Your Worship, just what we can sell these vehicles, these motorbikes, and we could also donate these motorbikes. So what I would like to do, I'd like to go through the act and come together with the COPSEC and come with a proper recommendations so that council can make a decision. I could have that for next week meeting, Your Worship.
Okay. All right, so by next week we will know whether we could sell them or don't need them. I prefer you come with the corporate secretary and you sit together and give us the right advice. Members agree? Because it can't be sitting there for the last, 11 years, right? And you have 4 parked down, and I don't know who had the vision. I don't know who had the vision. You might be able to tell me who had the vision to buy the next one. Yeah, you were here? Yeah, who had the vision? You who? Yeah, but himself, the mayor, make a decision. You're supposed to have, as a council, supposed to have some input. But anyway, we will get next week, Tuesday.
Worship, the disclaimer
This disclaimer is for the city engineer, stating he's no longer, for the public to know, he's no longer employed here, and he has no authority to transact or conduct any business on behalf of this council. And I think somebody suggested somebody else have to go in it.
Yes, Your Worship, we were looking at the senior retired officers from the corporation.
Yeah.
And I believe there are two right now. And Your Worship, the ad will be out next week. We had just prior for Carnival, we had placed 2 ads relating to other matters, and we decided to go with these ads next week, Your Worship.
I want you to choose the Newsday, the Guardian, the Express, and I would like it on a Saturday and Sunday. Right?
Yes, Your Worship.
Right. Because one thing I could say, you see this act we have before us here called the Act of 21 of 1990. Some people study that act very, very good. They study it like they're going to write an exam and manipulate the citizens of San Fernando into making money. They study that act so good, and they know that there are no laws in that act that could stop people from doing illegal things there. And you all know who I'm speaking about. I wouldn't call names. But that act, it needs to be amended. People doing what they want in San Fernando. Buildings going up. Mr. CEO, we have a building department. I driving up Embarcadero from the cemetery where the so-called waterfront project supposed to start. And a man is putting on a steel structure there on our property, on what the last council did. And Mr. CEO, nobody can go and see what's going on there. There's a steel structure on our property. I mean, come on, man, Mr. CEO, and I mean, we have building inspectors. All these building inspectors want to do is I thought that stopped. Only illegal activities. Somebody had to give me an answer for that, Mr. CEO. I want somebody to give me an answer why this gentleman is putting down a steel structure on our property. And nobody now, and it's an illegal structure. Councillor Joseph, are you aware of it? Councillor Naigam Joseph?
Next to the cemetery, if you're aware of that.
Let me remind you.
Down by the cemetery.
Yeah.
Yes.
Past the cemetery coming down there.
Yes, that's the steel
right
structure.
where the benches are.
Sorry.
This person designed a steel structure.
True story.
Going up there and nobody.
True story you mentioned.
Yeah.
And nothing was done.
Opposite the cemetery. You know, sometimes I feel like I alone know what's going on in San Fernando. Nobody don't know what's going on. We have a building department. Yeah.
Your Worship, to date I haven't received any information on this structure. However, I need to follow up with the Buildings Department because usually, at least by this point, if the frame is up, by this point, action, these action was supposed to be initiated, and something would have come across my desk by now. I mean, they would have completed the foundation and the steel frame. I will investigate this today, Your Worship.
Yeah, Mr. CEO, I mean, that's not your job, you know. You have a department. You can't micromanage. I don't micromanage in my chair here. Look, for Carnival, I didn't have to do anything. The deputy mayor as convener Carnival, he did everything. And I could have turned left and know everything was right. Was going right. Huh?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Yeah, but it's true. It's a fact.
Morning.
I could sit here and ask any one of my councillors to do something, and I'm sure they will do it.
That's right.
But I don't even have to look at them. There are some councillors I don't even have to call. They just call me all the time. There are councillors sitting here just call me all the time. What they're doing, what they want to get done, how to go about doing it. I mean, something had to be wrong, Mr. City Engineer, Mr. CEO.
Your Worship, as we on that note, talking about this side of the geography, the public convenience at the wharf, I'm just inquiring if it is completed, and if it is, when it's to be opened.
Well, I have that under questions.
Your Worship, with your permission, Your Worship, members of council, CEO, members of... Mr. Albert, you're sitting in the engineer's chair. How many building inspectors do we have?
Your Worship, members of council, on the establishment, we have 2 BI1s and 1 BI2. Unfortunately, presently, we short of 1 BI1. So we simply have the BI2 and 1 BI1.
Your Worship, that's another... I mean, how are we supposed to function?
That's all right. Mr. Albert, in your view, because you have been here a long time, this is the city of San Fernando. How much building inspectors do you think we should have here?
Your Worship, members of council, I had made a recommendation for an additional building inspector when some years ago I did the admin report. I contributed to the admin report by subdividing San Fernando with the extended area into 3 separate portions and having 1 additional BI1 on the establishment.
And that's the next thing I have a problem with, Mr. Albert. It's not with you, This extended boundary. San Fernando is one. San Fernando is a city. When we sit down here, there's only extended this and extended that. I mean, this is the city of San Fernando. I mean, after, then we shouldn't change from borough to city. We shall remain the sweet borough of San Fernando. We come to the wonderful city of San Fernando with the same staff, with the same allocation, with the same everything.
And Your Worship, just to add to that, Mr. Albert is saying some years ago when he contributed, he was suggesting 1 additional. That would have been 3 BI1s and 2 BI2s. But the reality, 1 BI2. But the reality is San Fernando has grown so much in that space of time. So that number has to increase. There's, as you said, Your Worship, there's so many illegal things going around. And I take no blame from anybody, but the fact of the matter is, we need to have the staff to go around and do these things. And it's ridiculous that we have to function like this. As you said, we should remain a borough. I mean, we're not doing the city any justice by being, what's the word, by having our feet tied together. It's like, you know, you're in school when children tie your shoelace together and you get up and you fall down. That's the way we were hobbled.
I don't know, You all make recommendations?
Yes, Your Worship. We on a continuous basis, we will make recommendations for the existing posts to be filled. However, since in January we had started an exercise in which we have well, the document is complete. It's just we are meeting with the various stakeholders in terms of staffing those new areas that came into the city, and which include building inspectors, work supervisors, buildings, all the resources that is required to efficiently run these documents. That document should be finished for council's approval, I would think, within a month. Sorry, not finished, will be ready for council's approval within a month so that we can submit it to the ministry via CPO's office.
All right. Okay. The last matter of attention here, I would like to. The city engineer isn't back as yet. What is the position with the Seabathers Association? I mean, I feel sorry for those men, you know. They come here week after week. I meet them. I pass there almost every day. A lot of people use that area. What is the situation?
Your Worship, that work started Saturday.
Oh, Saturday?
Yes.
Well, I must say congratulations to you, man. I mean, they really. I remember my friend here, when he was a member of parliament, you did something for them some years ago, and they really needed it because a lot of people use that area, you know. And someday all of us might get this arthritis and have to go down there to use the salt. So I think some of us have the arthritis right now because always we walking here sometimes. So Councillor Joseph, you don't have no arthritis because I see you on the papers. Yeah. Landslide. So that's it for the matters arising, and I just want to ask the Deputy Mayor and the Convener of Carnival. I would like to I'd like to offer congratulations and express gratitude on behalf of all members of Council to the Convener of Carnival for the work that he did under these conditions, the limited resources and the staffing. I know people always have a tendency to criticize and say, last time I spoke like this, I got myself in trouble with one of the media houses. But I will say it again, and I will say it again and again. The Deputy Mayor and the Convener of Carnival works very hard here. And when some of us were partying and on the beach and having a good time, he was here day and night trying to put this carnival together. And I'm sure you all members of council will agree with me, because you all know what I'm speaking about. And while some might say he's a one-man team and he's do what he wants and so on, I'll be cautious what I'm saying. He, with a small staff at the carnival committee downstairs, he knew how to get the job done. And carnival was a success in San Fernando. And while I want to thank the police and the administration, the central police and our police and the administration, Mr. Convener, I want to say special thanks to you for making Carnival a success in San Fernando. So I'd like you all to give him a round of applause. And members, I would like you all to know that none of us is perfect. All of us have strengths and all of us have weaknesses. And we look for the strengths in people and make use of it. And Mr. Convener Carnival, once again I want to thank you for the job done for this entire carnival season. You report it to me all the time, and one thing I say as I sit here, I don't like no surprises. I want to know everything that's going on. So if anybody call me, I will be able to report and say I know or I don't know. And you did keep in contact with me right through the carnival season. Although you lost your phone. You lost your phone last year carnival, and you lost your phone this year carnival, but yeah. So I'd like to thank you and all the members of council. I saw Councillor Paris at one of the points on the newspaper, and all the other councillors who were there, all who were there. And Mr. CEO, I would like to pay special thanks. And you know, I would like to express this genuinely. You see, the public health department, people take this for granted and overlook this. Wednesday morning, 2 o'clock, Ash Wednesday morning, you could have drive through San Fernando and walk through San Fernando. And you would never know that 2 days a bacchanal take place in San Fernando. And a person I want to recognize here from your department, Mr. Mohammed, is a very simple, quiet gentleman. And nobody knows him. We know him, but the public don't know him. And his name is Mr. Gerard Rambara. And he does it without any fanfare. He's not looking for no fame. He don't want no money. I mean, I shouldn't be saying this. He lives at Rio Claro. He will leave home 4 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock to get here on time. He spent Carnival Monday night here together with Mr. Mohammed. Yeah. Right? And, you know, we need people like him. And he will motivate other people in the corporation. Why people can't see how he's working and work after and do the same thing? I always try to encourage workers. This morning, Mr. Biari, I saw him here. He called me. I said that anything in that department that you want, we could highlight, we could help you. We need to do it, and Mr. CEO, some form of recognition must be given, because all you need is thank you, you know. And your heart just feel fulfilled. You don't need no $5,000 or $300,000, like what the man come in my office to try to buy me. You don't need that. You need thank you. And you need to say it genuinely and sincerely. And I would like you, Mr. CEO, and the Public Health Department, to recognize him. Look, he's not even here this morning. And he don't know. So we will find some way to thank him for all the work. Because we take it for granted. We go to sleep Tuesday night and get up, and a twinkle of eye and the street clean. And you see what clean the market and High Street and make sure the business area and crossing and all these areas clean. So, Mr. CEO, could you kindly look into it? And you want to say something? Yeah.
Administration. I will just want to do a brief overview on the carnival, and I want to begin by congratulating all the winners, and particularly St. Paul's AC, my alma mater, and panelists who successfully defended their title at the national level. As well as the King of Carnival, Roland St. George, a prominent San Fernandian and former King of Carnival of San Fernando, now campaigning in Port of Spain. However, as my colleague alluded to a while ago, we continue to be handicapped by the gulf between Port of Spain and San Fernando, which seems to be widening as we go along. When you look at NCC allocation for 2014, which was 170 million, we got 1.3 million. This year, NCC got an 87% increase. They got $314,135,269,000, and we only got 1.3 million again. That's difficult for us to work with, whereas last year we got a contribution from Petrotrin of $50,000 and $25,000 from TSTT. That didn't occur this year. We know Petrotrin are going through difficult times, but they didn't honor the commitment, and nobody responded to our request for funding. NGC, who has gas line running through San Fernando as well, did not respond. You have Fernandez, Angostura, and Carib, and of course San Fernando make a hefty contribution to their coffers, because I know that we consume a lot down in this area, but they didn't see it fit to make a contribution to San Fernando Carnival. If corporate bodies can contribute, that could take some of the pressure off of the state. However, none of them seem to be contributing to our situation, and we have to address these issues. However, we will create a saving by adjusting the infrastructure, and I show you this morning we have saved $164,000 altogether by changing our approach this year. Also, I want to talk about some of the issues on Coffee Street, where rumors circulating is that we didn't allow, or I stopped mass and passing on Coffee Street. That is not true. What we did is that we removed the judging point from Coffee Street for the mass bands on Carnival Tuesday, but the bands were mandated to go up Coffee Street and turn left onto Lacule Street and right onto Carib Street. As a matter of fact, as you and I know that we had to intervene on Carnival Tuesday when Mr. Santana did not want the Carib band, because we made an exception to the Carib band because of the size of the band and the fact that it had 8 40-foot trailers. So we allowed them to go direct from Coffee Street onto Superior Street. And Mr. Santana insists that they go up Carib Street because that was the rule and that we agreed to. So all bands are mandated to pass on Coffee Street with the exception of Carib band. The other concern we have, and we discussed that as well, is the attitude of business people on Coffee Street and the amount of bars that we have on Coffee Street. Coffee Street has what we could probably now call not a bar-orama. Every empty spot on Coffee Street is occupied by bars, and it is interfering with the flow of Carnival. As a matter of fact, there are bars and vendors on the pavement. There is nowhere for spectators to stand. There's nowhere for pedestrians to walk. The bands are having problems in coming through Coffee Street. As we said earlier on, we need to meet with the GP and the police to find a solution to that problem. My suggestion, one of the things I would like to see is probably the involvement of maybe the Blind Institute, who has a business place on Coffee Street, that they can be selling their wares. Why we have to be just selling alcohol on Carnival days? There's so many Stanfordians coming back from abroad. Maybe Pantry Baker could have a tent selling CDs from steel bands and T-shirts from steel bands. Maybe Tuka could be selling calypsos. Maybe the NCB could be selling costumes that are not sold to take back a souvenir. All those are intrepid opportunities that can be created out of Carnival, as opposed to just selling alcohol and liquor, sometimes even underage children. We're looking at the situation right now, what's happening on the streets, and you're seeing young kids in bands, right, totally out of control because of alcohol. And we need to change the culture and the concept of how we treated bars on Coffee Street. That could also generate some revenue for us, as opposed to what is happening currently. And finally, I would like to say that we have less than 12 months to prepare for Carnival 2016, which is on the cards, and the mayor and I have been talking about our approach with consultation with all the stakeholders as we address the issues and our shortcomings to make Carnival 2016 brighter and better. Thank you.
And well, at the press conference on Wednesday, when we announced the results, I thank the Central Police for a crime-free Carnival. They had no incidents, and if they did have, it was very, very minor, Carnival related. So, Mr. Santana, Mr. Dinoon, Mr. Santana and his team of officers, together with our ASP, they did an excellent job in ensuring that the citizens were safe, and we had a successful Carnival. Papers and correspondence to be laid? No.
Yes, Your Worship. letters, Your Worship, thank you letters. First one from Port of Spain Corporation, signed by the Chief Executive Officer. On behalf of His Worship the Mayor of Port of Spain, Alderman Raymond Timke, members of the Council and staff of the Port of Spain City Corporation, I am pleased to extend sincere appreciation to your organization for partnering with us to ensure the resounding success of the 100th anniversary celebration of the capital city. Port of Spain came alive during the month of celebrations, and we are pleased to see that there was widespread participation, not only by the burgesses of the, but certainly from across Trinidad and Tobago, as we hosted a schedule of events designed to appeal to the diverse tastes of our multicultural population. As a result of your input to sponsorship of elements related to the staging of the various events which comprise the celebration, we were able to offset some of the high costs related to the supply of goods and services. We value your contribution to this milestone in the life of our capital city, and once again, thank you for your invaluable support to Port of Spain City Corporation. Next item, thank you letter from Caribbean Color Splash. On behalf of the Color Splash Committee, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to yourself and the San Fernando City Corporation for making 2015 Caribbean Color Splash 5K a success. The event has successfully created a positive image of the city of San Fernando, as it was highlighted on Guardian Express newspapers, TV6 and CCN3 News. Special mention must be made of Councillors Naigam Joseph and Shaka Joseph, who supported the initiative and participated in the race. It was a vision of the Color Splash Committee to utilize Skinner Park as a venue to host such an event, and we are thankful for the permission and the waiver given. This helped make our vision a reality by helping to offset the cost of hosting 2015 Caribbean Color Splash at a venue that is historic and significant as Skinner Park. As we go and continue to commit ourselves, please know that the partnership with our sponsors are vital to success and our group and future events. We are truly appreciated. Thanks again. Signed, Albert Marshall, Project Manager. And final one, Your Worship, from the Marabella Family Crisis Center. Thank you letter. On behalf of the Board of Directors and members of staff of the Marabella Family Crisis Center, we sincerely thank you for your valued partnering with the Marabella Family Crisis Center. In December 2014, 725 children received gift toys. 175 food hampers were distributed, and 100 senior citizens received lunches. Once again, the Marabella Family Crisis Center thanks you for your support. We look forward to your partnership in 2015. Signed by Terence Moise, CEO. That's it, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. Madam Corporate Secretary, I understand you just came from the court. You have any news for us? Good news. Good news.
Sorry, good morning, Your Worship, members of council, members of administration, members of the public. Most of the matters were just adjourned with fresh summons to be served and disclosure to be effected at the next date of hearing. There was no court room. These were building matters, not building matters were listed for hearing today. That's why the city engineer was there as well, not vacant lot. Yes. So, sorry. Yes. Okay. Most of the matters were listed for a date in, I think it was for the 14th of May, 2015. Fresh summons to be served on the defendant.
So someone's a served on them already, and you have to summon them again?
Yes, Your Worship. Some of them did not attend.
So, members, you see the struggle we have to put up with. All these dilapidated structures in San Fernando, where they're housing homeless people, drug addicts, prostitutes, name it. And this is what we have to go through. So since when this in the court?
October last year.
October last year.
Your Worship, sorry to interrupt you. I just want to add one thing. If some appeared in court I mean, we could deal with those. Those don't need to be postponed again. Yeah, if yes, why did the magistrate, why? Yeah.
With respect to the dilapidated structures, the defendants did not appear.
Well, we're not going to give up the struggle. We are here to fight for the citizens of San Fernando, and we'll continue the fight. But we are not giving up without a fight. Councillor Donna, you wanted to make a suggestion on that?
Your Worship, members of council, members of administration. To be fair to the court, usually in matters like these, when a summon is served, well, actually when a summon is issued, what would occur is that it can be either two things, that the summons were not served, or that the defendants, it was served and the defendants did not appear. Usually court will give an opportunity for this to be reserved. Thereafter, the next occasion, they may make an order based on the fact that it was served, they never appeared, they give two summons. So hopefully by May hearing, we should have a judgment in place and we can proceed as follows.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Madam Corporate Secretary. Okay, committee reports for acceptance. Finance, planning and allocation of resources. Meeting held on the 2nd, the 9th, on the 3rd or the 1st, on the 21st or the 1st, 20th or the 1st.
I move for the acceptance of the report for finance, planning and allocation of resources for the 2nd of the 12th, 9th of the 12th, 13th of the 1st, and the 20th of the 1st, 2015.
Moved by Councillor Joseph. Second by Councillor Paris. All in favour? Any against? The ayes have it. Physical infrastructure.
Move for the acceptance of the physical infrastructure and transport report meeting held on the 11th of February 2014.
Thank you, Councillor Paris. Second, please. Second by Councillor Montano. All in favour? Any against? The ayes have it. Public health.
I move for the acceptance of the Public Health, Public Safety and the Environment report of meeting held on the 13th of January 2015.
All in favour? Any against? The ayes have it. Committee reports for adoption. Buildings.
I beg the second.
Second by Councillor Montano. All in favour? Any against? The ayes have it. Community policing.
I beg to second.
All in favour? Any against? The ayes have it. Disaster.
I rise for the adoption of the Disaster Preparedness and Management Report, meeting held on the 13th of the 1st, 2015.
Beg to second.
All in favour? Any against? The ayes have it. General purposes.
I rise for the adoption of the general purposes report of meeting held on the 2nd of November 2014.
Thank you very much. All in favour?
Yeah.
Any against? The ayes have it.
I rise for the report for adoption for the Social Development Report, meeting held on the 2nd of 11, 2014.
I rise to second.
All in favour? Any against? The ayes have it. Social.
Please, Your Worship. With regards to the general purposes report,
yes.
I was advised that actually we did have a meeting in last month, I believe, at the general purposes. This is not reflected in the report itself, but there was a general purposes meeting which was approximately about 2 weeks ago or so.
Sorry, Your Worship, that wasn't confirmed as another full meeting of the general purposes because it was held this month, February, so it needs to be confirmed in March. No, there was no general purposes meeting in January. I think meetings resumed on the 13th of January, which would have been about the second Tuesday.
All right, well, I'm guided then. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Councillor Montano, your announcements?
CEO, members of council, members of administration, I regret to announce the passing of the following individuals in the city of San Fernando. We have 10 such names. First one, George Blaze of 5th Street, Bartow Avenue, Marabella, departed this life on Wednesday, the 28th of January, 2015. He was 87 years. His funeral was held on Tuesday, the 3rd of February, 2015, at Guides Funeral Home, Coffee Street, San Fernando. Enid Nicholson of number 19 Corralita Drive, Pleasantville, departed this life on Wednesday, the 28th of January, 2015. She was 93 years. Funeral service held on Thursday, the 5th of February, 2015, at St. Bernard's number 1 Independent Baptist Church, Coquet Village. Teresa Agatha Williams of 25 Central Street, Vista Bella, departed this life on Sunday, the 8th of February, 2015, at the age of 97. A funeral was held on the 12th of February at the Our Lady of Perpetual Help, Harris Promenade. Clarice Benjamin of number 2 Altai Drive, Coquet Village, departed this life on Monday, the 9th of February, 2015, at the age of 82. Funeral held on Friday, the 20th of February, 2015, at the Church of Christ, Panko Lane, San Fernando. Eastlyn Annie Cooper of St. Andrew's Park West, Coquet, departed this life on Sunday, the 15th of February, 2015. She was a former principal of Modsec. Funeral held on Friday, the 20th of February, 2015, at the St. Bernard's Baptist Church, Coquet Village. Jensen Siratan of Ramsaran Street, San Fernando, departed this life on Monday, the 16th of February, 2015. Funeral held on Monday, the 21st of February, 2015, at the Belgrove's Funeral Home Chapel, Coffee Street, San Fernando. Donna Thomas of number 3 Darren Ganga Drive, Toruba, Marabella, departed this life on Thursday, the 12th of February, 2015. Funeral held on the 20th of February, 2015, at Guides Funeral Home, Coffee Street, San Fernando. Frederick Morris of Sukaran Street, San Fernando, departed his life on Tuesday, the 17th of February, at the age of 77. Funeral held on Friday, the 20th of February, at St. Benedict's RC Church, La Romaine. Akil Laborde of 46 Honda Drive, Harmony Hall, Marbella, departed his life on Wednesday, the 4th of February, 2015, at the age of 21. Akil was a former student of Presentation College and was currently a law student at the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill, Barbados. Akil was also one of the competitors in last year's Junior Calypso Competition National. His funeral was held on Tuesday, the 10th of February, 2015, at the Our Lady of Perpetual Help, Harris Promenade. Veronica Glaston of Monrepo departed his life on Wednesday, the 18th of February, 2015. Funeral was held on the 20th of February at the St. Joseph RC Church, Monrepo. And that's it for the announcement. I'll now hand you back to His Worship. Okay.
A minute silence. Souls of the faithful departed, rest in peace. Thank you. And while Councillor Montano was calling out that announcements there, you must all remember that you don't know when our time will come. It could be young, it could be old. So don't take one another for granted. And I want to remind myself, first of all, and remind all of us here today, that we should not be criticizing anybody, anyone, and trying to pull them down and ill speaking one another, because it don't pay off. Learn to work with each other. We don't have to like each other, but we must learn to. I always say, I love everybody. Let me say, if you don't like me, or you don't love me, I will love you. Because each one of us have a purpose in life. And while Councillor Montano was reading that announcement, I went to a funeral Saturday evening. And I want to thank you, Mr. CEO, for allowing the burial on a Saturday. Normally that don't happen. And I want to say, what I saw there was a very simple man, 81 years old, a multi-millionaire, just went down in a hole and took nothing with him except his deeds. So while we're fighting up here and criticizing who will be the next mayor and who will be the next contractor and who will get this and who will want that and who thieving and who this and that, we must remember that we all have a purpose here. And Councillor Laverne Smith? Yes, sir. We all have a purpose in life. And before we move on, I would like to under the questions I will ask. Any petitions, Mr. CEO? No. Any motions?
One motion.
One motion.
Your Worship, members of Council, members of Administration, I rise today to move the motion for the addition of the name Rodney Wilkes to Bertrand Street as an honorary representation of a national hero. My apologies. Motion for the addition of the name Rodney Wilkes to Bertrand Street sign. I, Councillor Sherry Ali, representative of Electoral District of Lesotho East Sepero, on the 24th day of February 2015, move that, and whereas Bertrand Street in the Electoral District of Lesotho East Sepero has always been maintained by the City of San Fernando City Corporation, and whereas the said members of the community have petitioned this council for the addition of an honorary street sign in the name of Rodney Wilkes to be attached to Bertrand Street sign, petition attached thereto. And whereas, as an expression of thanks in recognition of Mr. Rodney Wilkes' service and invaluable contribution to the community, the residents have signed a petition to effectively add the name Rodney Wilkes to the street, Bertrand Street. And whereas the General Purpose Committee under the jurisdiction of such facility says fall and considered the representation on the day made, I believe that would be today, guided by the Corporate Sec, and recommended that the City of San Fernando accept the same. Be it resolved that this council add the name described wherein as Rodney Wilkes to the street. I so move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? I'd like to congratulate you, Councillor Ali, for your determination in ensuring that this icon be awarded a place for the generations to come, that he could be recognized. And to often people die and leave here, and in this room here, I am recognizing two people who have parks and other amenities in their name, and one of them is Mr. Hollis Clifton. Mr. Clifton has a basketball court named after him. He was at that time.
Never played basketball, he was. Never bounced a ball in his life. Okay.
But Mr. Clifton was a community. I mean, he was from the community. And he was an activist, and he did a lot of work. You were in Zimbabwe or somewhere like that? Botswana. And I know you played an important role, and I had the opportunity, like Councillor Ali, to move that motion for you, to be named after you. And I think this council is moving into that direction, where we are going to name public buildings, parks, and other areas in recognition of people who have served the community. The other person, I would like to have one meeting, Mr. Mayor. Yeah. I also see in the audience a former councillor who served the community and who was also recognized for her hard work, not only as a councillor but in the community, and she still continued to serve the community, and that is former councillor Shirley Nichols, and Councillor Parrish, you did it. Right?
Your Worship, if I can, because I'm being prodded, and I never miss the opportunity to forget that I am the representing councillor for Mr. Hollis Clifton, and in acknowledgement of, yes, the fact that he does have a basketball named after him, I have to beg upon the city engineer or city engineer representative yet again. His sign was removed, and can he please get it put back up? Twice.
Yeah, so as I was saying, we want to take this direction. We have the bandstand that has been refurbished, and that bandstand, a decision will be taken among council who to name the bandstand after, and it's not completed yet. It might be about 2 or 3 weeks again, and it will be named after a San Fernandian who have served the community, and that's where we are going on now. And Mr. Deputy Mayor, as the person in charge of the events and public holidays and so on, I want to ask you on behalf of the council for the opening of the bandstand, the date to be announced. I would like to open with an interfaith service and invite school children of San Fernando. Right? And I know whatever has been asked, that you normally make sure and carry out the instructions. So this council is instructing you to organize this interfaith service, and I would like to invite the school children of San Fernando, because that area there will be brought back to the days of glory, of prominence and glory, where you had concerts at Christmas time, and when you have the Wali functions and Calypso, Shout Out Baptist celebrations and so on. So that bandstand will be put to proper use. And I am asking you.
So shall it be written, so shall it be done.
Okay. Alright, so Councillor Ali, thank you again, and I know you're very eager. I see you're dressed for the occasion and so on today. So Mr. Rodney Wilkes deserve it, and you will go down in history as a person who, on behalf of the community, who recognize him.
Sir, I thank you for that, and if I can ask your permission, along with the indulgence of administration, the anniversary of his death is March 24th. The March month will commence at the end of this week. It is a Tuesday at which we have customary committee meetings. If we can, in observation, invite his living family members, I believe he has 2 daughters and 1 son, to unveil of course, at your hand, the unveil of the actual renaming or honorary placement.
Okay. All right. I think that could be arranged. It will be arranged because that's the right time to do it. It's anniversary. All right. And then as you stand there to talk, something came to my mind, Mr. CEO and the acting ASP. I don't know whose idea it was to paint San Fernando in yellow and blue. But that will change. And I don't know whose idea it was to put it on a wall in that area where it is where nobody can see it. And you all know what happened to that on a wall now? It was highlighted in the Express again, and the photo opinion, where some people took up residency there. So if you go down there now, you will see suitcases upon suitcases, and coffee, and milk, right in the back there. It was highlighted in the Express. I see somebody from the Express here. You might know what I'm speaking about. You saw it. And nobody from the corporation passing there every single day, and that going on there for 2 weeks. And nobody took a note of it and did something about it. And the court is right there. Children going to convent and St. Gabriel's, and they're going to church at the Anglican and the Catholic churches. And nobody is doing nothing about it. So if I don't raise it here, nobody will see it. But I told you all that I listen to everybody. And I read it. And I saw it on the Express, and I was waiting to see if anything would be done. And up to this morning when I passed there, all the suitcases were there. As a matter of fact, I spoke to the tenant there Friday. I spoke. You were there? Yeah. Yeah. We went across to watch the bandstand, and I asked him, yeah, well, I am the landlord. So I asked him, I said, how long you living there? And he tell me how long he living there. And I tell him, I saw you on the Express. And he said, me? I said, yes. He said, you want to move me? I said, yes. He said, well, I can't move him. So, Mr. CEO, I'm asking you at the administration to handle that in your way. Because we can't have that. Because let me tell you something. What we saw in the newspaper was somebody, they're eating and they're doing all the numbers right there. They block around an area and they're doing it right there. And school children passing there. We're talking about the youths, but we must set an example for the youths. When that area where the train is, I'll ask these questions just now. But when that area going up there, Maramola, man, you didn't reach anywhere with the homeless people as yet. I know you went to the ministry and so on.
We're still trying, Your Worship. We're working on a number of things. We're trying to partner with some existing things. And we're still trying to get meetings at ministry. So far, we have been unable to.
But I see they have a new minister, the people now.
Well, we're hoping. We've sent in the letter again requesting. And we're hoping. I hope by next statutory meeting I should have something positive to report on that front. But it's disheartening, Your Worship, I have to say.
Yeah, because that's at a central government level. Because if we use the community development area down there and decide to feed these people down there, everybody will gravitate towards there. You know? But people feeding them on the promenade.
Your Worship, I'm glad you said that. One of the things we have to do as well is to really get through to the public, stop feeding them on the streets.
Yeah, but we must have an alternative.
Agreed. But at the same time, we can't force them to go to any of the existing shelters. And even if we set up one, it's a complicated technical issue, but we're working on it, Your Worship. We really are. But it is disheartening. I mean, even in where I live, driving, you see them without trousers, with, you know, some of them with catheters still out of the hospital. I don't understand how they could be on the road like that. It's upsetting.
We're not going to give up.
But we are not giving up, Your Worship, and by next start I'm hoping to have some positive news. But we are working on it, Your Worship.
Okay. All right, so Mr. CEO will deal with the tenant we have there. And any personal explanations? Any questions? Any urgent matters from the administration?
No, Your Worship.
Okay. Mr. CEO, what is the situation with the public convenience on the wharf?
Your Worship, I spoke to the city engineer on that, I believe, this week or end of last week. The building is completed. However, what the phase we are doing right now is that securing the perimeter fence and landscaping.
No, but that was said about 3 months ago.
Yeah, but it is completed, Your Worship.
So when are we going to open the public convenience?
I would think 2 weeks, Your Worship.
Yeah, but that's looking like it's ready to open, because I watched the fence there. You can't put up a pretty... It come like a man have on a nice 3-piece suit and he walking on with a rubber slipper. Oh, you have a nice pretty building there, and what's your surroundings, what's your fence? It's not accommodating. The access to the public convenience is an old wooden bridge you have to walk across. It's 2 planks. You saw it?
No, Your Worship.
We had to walk. We had to come out and walk. I just walk down there. I mean, I really want to know about that public convenience. It has to open. This council come out to do things, you know. We're going to leave a legacy in San Fernando. We're going to list, when we leave here, and when we leave here next year? When we leave here next year, we must have a list of accomplishments that this PNM San Fernando City Corporation Control Council achieve all this. Because I have a list, a booklet in my office where the COP Council, and it mark it, the COP Council achieve 708, something about 708, and out of that, half a finish. And they had the most money to spend. So I just wanted to update. What is the position with the land we cleared down there with the sawmill that we said we will use for additional parking for the members of the who use the water taxi and who use the hospital?
Copsec.
Good morning again, Your Worship. We wrote letters requesting meetings, and we did follow up with a request for a meeting with the PTSC with respect to a variation of the MOU, because they had given particular conditions with what that land was supposed to be used for. And we have not had that meeting.
You know, members of council, you see what's going on here? San Fernando has no parking facilities. There's an empty piece of land. We decided to clear it down. Permission was given. We decided to clear it down. Now they're telling us we can't use it for parking. So what's really taking place is a set of square pegs and round holes here. We were advised by the city engineer this could be done. The former, not the present one, the former one. So in other words, it could have been done then. All this man ever did here was give us wrong advice, you know, and we're paying the price for it now. So what is the situation? So we can't provide no parking down there?
Your Worship, the MOU stipulated that we clear the site, we construct the car park, and there was a condition that the water taxi use the car park for most of the day. I think the time was given from 5 in the morning to thereabout. And that's what we are trying the variation we are trying to get. But however, Your Worship, we had this discussion, I remember recently, and you told me that the fact is that we should go in and make the car park and secure it. And then let's force the hands of the PTSC in terms of who to utilize the park. And we were waiting on the weather, Your Worship, but I believe we're in a position to proceed with that plan.
Yeah, because we spent a lot of money down there to clear the place.
Yeah, that is true, Your Worship.
And people parking all on the roadway, and there's no parking in San Fernando. I mean, what keeping us back now?
Your Worship, we were waiting on the weather, and I think we could proceed with that. Proceed with that park, Your Worship.
So, what time frame are we looking at? Because I concern about time frame. I want to know when we'll be able for people to start parking there. Because as you clear that area, down there will be clear. Because that's one good thing they have is that water taxi service. Whose idea was that? Right. So people use that car park there. People take advantage of that water taxi service.
Your Worship, I'm unable to give you a timeline right now, but however, you could have that at the end of the day.
All right. I want that timeline for it, right? All right. Members of Council, any urgent matters? Councilor Smith, I have no matters? Sure. All right. I'd like to, before we close, I would like to recognize in the audience the mother of the young lady sitting in the back there, the mother of Olaman Mongal Bisesa Vidya. Ma'am, welcome. Okay. All right, thanks. Daughter, your next daughter, and I want to let you know that thank you for, and I want to thank God for giving us, lending us your daughter to have her on this council here to represent San Fernando. And I could see where she got her looks from.
Actually, modest better looking like your daughter.
What? Professor is doing an excellent job here. She's been making a very valid contribution at the council, just like all members of council. And I want to thank you for lending her to us this morning. And I know you, while she was away, I know you was managing everything. Because I think I had to talk to you to get some tickets for somebody. I remember that. So, thank you for, because a lot of people were calling me for tickets for Carnival, and I know your daughter wasn't in the country, and you were kind enough to give the tickets to people. Right, so thank you very much. And so there be no other urgent matters. Parliament, councillors, Mr. CEO, members of staff, and to the members of the media who have been highlighting San Fernando. I mean, I really look at the newspaper to see what could be done to improve San Fernando. And I want to say thank you to the media. And I really mean that, because I really look to see, because I can't know everything. And the media highlights a lot of everything in San Fernando. So members of the audience and members of the media and all members here. Members, I don't know if I try to bring Parliament into here, so I've got the, we can't get to the Parliament, so the Parliament could come to us. Eh? You going to Parliament? But I don't know if I can ever reach there, so I try to, and I think it's better so the recording secretary can hear and hear properly. So when I have to say put on your mic and and not hearing you and all those things. So, thank you very much, and we'll break now.
Actually, before you break, I want to make a recommendation for us to consider. Our next meeting is that we seriously consider having our own champs in concert next year for us to consider.
Yeah, because we have plenty winners.
Yeah.
So you will put that in place. All right. So members, we will just break for a minute and come back. And yeah, a minute. You don't want to get home early. It's 5 to 12. It's 12 o'clock. Huh? Yeah. So we'll break for 2 minutes and come back and finish up the meeting quick, because one committee meeting, and then we'll break for lunch. All right, thank you, and have a safe one.
Okay, when you say, I don't want to say one. Yeah, I challenge that. What do you think? It's all right. Okay,